Sean and the Searforge Commission won the roll and decided that Crix should set up and go first. So I set up my unit of 10 pirates with Captain Rengrave, unit of 6 pirates with Terminus closely following them, Terminus's Reaper and Defiler, with a Necrotech behind them, and 4 total Scrap Thralls. Sean then deployed the Searforge Commission, which has the Horgenhold Forge Guard, Hernan John, Thor with a Gunner and an Ogren Bokur, and then Gorten Grunback with 2 Blasters and a Driller. And we're ready to take the first turn. Turn 1 for Crix. Pretty much everything ran except for Terminus. He advanced, cast Malediction on himself, of course, and camped on his remaining focus. For the Searforge Commission's first turn, Gorten goes and gives a focus to each of his blasters. The Horgenhold Forge Guard run. Hernan John make an advance. John fires his Arquebus at the Defiler, doing 8 points of damage and taking out the Defiler's Arc Node. Thor then goes and pronos the Gunner, makes a full advance, and tunes up the Gunner. The Gunner fires at Captain Rengrave and goes for bonus damage. Rengrave, of course, uses the Sacrificial Pawn ability, and that kills a pirate. The Bokur and the Driller both advance. The Blasters advance. One of them tries to make a spray, comes up a little bit short against the pirates. Gorten makes an advance, casts Rock Wall in front of the Blasters and the Bokur, and camps on 1 focus. And we'll be back with turn 2. Terminus upkeeps Malediction, and we go into activations. We start with the Necrotech, who repairs the Defiler for 2 points, brings the Arc Node back up. Sean, of course, says boo to that. The Defiler goes and makes an advance, sprays a Sludge Cannon at the Horgenhold, targets 4 guys with it, ends up hitting and killing 2 of them. The Reaper goes up the hill a little bit, takes a ranged attack at the Horgenhold, hits, does no damage, and then drags the guy in, hits him with the Helldriver, killing him. Captain Rengrave makes an advance and fires at the Bokur and misses. The pirates, they advance, the big squad of pirates, and they take some shots at the Gunner, Thor's Gunner, and pretty much most of them miss. One of them does 1 damage. Everything else is pretty much junk. The other 6 pirates, they traverse the hill a little ways, and the Scrap Thralls all run. Terminus makes an advance and casts Annihilation using the Defiler as his Arc Node against the Horgenhold, and does nothing. Searforge turn 2. Gorten goes and gives 1 focus to each of the Blasters and decides to let Rockwall expire. So he sits on 3 focus. Horgenhold start by charging into the Scrap Thrall and the Defiler. They blow up the Scrap Thrall, but it doesn't do any damage anywhere else. The Defiler ends up taking 2 hits, which pretty much boxes him. Of course, they have Weapon Master, so they tore into him pretty good. Hernan John make a ranged attack versus the small squad of pirates and killing 2 of them. Thor drives his Gunner and fires off his Blowtorch at Captain Rengrave, who used a Sacrificial Pawn. Ends up with 2 pirates dead there. The Bokur attempts a slam into the pirates and fails. Comes up with less than 3 inches, so fails the slam, does no damage. The Blasters come up and spray the large unit of pirates. Captain Rengrave sacrifices yet another one and ends up with a few pirates killed there. The Gunner comes up from Jack Marshall from Thor, shoots at Rengrave with his gun, and Rengrave has none of that. Sacrificial Pawn yet again, 1 more pirate dead. Gorten then goes and makes a full advance and goes both barrels at Rengrave, who yet again says, "No sir, Sacrificial Pawn," and kills another pirate, and then Gorten stops, camping on 2 focus. Alright, so turn 3, and Crix goes, and Terminus gives 3 focus to the Reaper. Upkeeps Malediction, so he's sitting on 2. Some pirates get up. Start with Captain Rengrave, who charges the Bowcur and misses. One of the scrap thralls charges the blaster and goes boom, hitting both the blasters in the explosion. He cripples the movement on the original blaster and does 1 point at the other one. The pirates, what's left of the squad of 10, which is now only like 2 pirates, they charge the movement crippled blaster and finally end up destroying it with their attacks. Another scrap thrall charges the gunner and does no damage, but Thor gets hit for 3 damage in the blast that goes off because of that. The small unit of pirates charge the gunner. The first one does 1 point of damage to the gunner, and then he tries to fire his pistol and ends up nailing his pirate buddy in the back, who makes a tough roll and is knocked down. Terminus goes and casts Ravager on the Reaper. He then pops his feet, making a full advance, of course. He casts Dragonfire, or he uses Dragonfire rather, into the Horgenhold and kills 3 of them, so that gives him 3 soul tokens. The Reaper then goes, charges the Horgenhold, kills 2 more. Scrap Thrall makes an advance onto the Horgenhold, misses, blows up, does no damage, and then the Necrotech comes up to the Defiler Wreck Marker, makes his roll, and puts up 3 Scrap Thralls. Sean, of course, pukes in disgust. Sean with Searforge turn 3. He keeps all focus for Gorten. Starts off by using Thor to drive the gunner. Gunner goes out of melee and gets a back strike for 5 damage from one of the pirates. The gunner then makes a ranged attack at the pirates. Ends up doing enough damage to kill 2 of them, but one survives with tough, even though he's on fire. Hearn and John go next. Hearn takes and uses his pistol versus one of the pirates and misses. John fires his arquebus at the Reaper, does 4 damage to it. And then the Horgenhold charge into a scrap thrall. The scrap thrall blows up, which ends up catching the Necrotech for enough damage to destroy him. Smiley face by Sean. Does another point to the Reaper, and both the Horgenhold survive from the scrap thrall explosion. The Bowcur takes an attack at Rengrave and misses. Gorten charges the remaining 2 pirates from the large unit, destroys both of them, casts Strength of Granite. Then the blaster goes with a spray shot into Rengrave, who uses Sacrificial Pawn. The spray also fired at the Bowcur, which missed, and hit a couple of pirates, which 2 of them made their tough roll, and one of the other pirates kicked the bucket. And onward to turn 4.